Hey guys, what's up? My name is Marley and welcome to my channel, Marley Reads a Lot. Today, as you can see from the title, I'm going to be starting my reading vlog for the Enneagram Readathon that is being put on by a number of booktubers here on YouTube. So I'll leave some information about the readathon in the description below, but basically it's a readathon centered around the Enneagram personality test. You basically take the test and get sorted into a number either from 1 to 9 based on your personality. And I took the test and got Enneagram number 4, so that is the team I'm going to be on, is team number 4. Each of the teams has different team captains who came up with different prompts that you are going to read books based off of. And each team has 4 prompts, so I'll quickly just let you know what 4 books I'm going to be reading for this vlog, and then we can just hop into the rest of the vlog. And this is a 2-week readathon going on from August 1st to August 14th. It is August 3rd already and I haven't started, but you know what? We can catch up. Oh, a little bit more about Enneagram 4. We are called the individualist, and we are sensitive, creative, and expressive. So the first prompt is to read a dark and twisty read. So I'm going to, oh, that's the wrong side. I'm going to be reading The Hunting Party by Lucy Foley. I'm pretty sure this is just about a bunch of people going on a hunting party. I'm pretty sure this is just about a bunch of people in the woods, I guess, on a hunting party, and then people start dying. It's some sort of like thriller, murder, mystery type of thing, and you're trying to figure out who the killer is. So definitely dark and twisty. One of the other prompts is to read a book with a soft or sensitive character. So I'm going to be reading the final book in the Carry On series, Anyway the Wind Blows by Rowell. This is about Simon Snow and Baz and a couple of their other friends. It takes place in like a magical world where there are mages, which are basically like wizards. And yeah, this is the final book. I'm really excited. Simon Snow is a sensitive character for the prompt. Then the other prompt is to read a second chance romance, which is Dial A for Aunties by Jessie Q. Sutanto. This is about a girl who accidentally kills someone. I think it's her date, and then she calls all of her aunties to help her try and cover up the murder. It sounds like it's gonna be like, I think they're called cozy mysteries is what I've heard they're called. It's where it's like a murder mystery, but it's like fun and like cozy. It's not like dark and twisty, but this wouldn't really be a mystery because we know who she killed, so maybe it's like a cozy thriller. I don't know, but this is actually my current read right now. I'm not very far into it, but I think it will be good. And then the last book is to read a buddy read. Unfortunately, I'm not going to be reading the group 4 buddy read because we're allowed to read other groups. I'm actually going to be reading group 5's buddy read, which is The Maidens by Michaelides. He wrote The Silent Patient, which I really loved. And this is a thriller that takes place at a university when a student thinks that the professor is like killing people, and there has to do with like cults and stuff like that, and kind of like a dark academia kind of vibe. So yeah, that's my TBR for these next 2 weeks. Hopefully I will be able to accomplish all these prompts and I will like all of these books. So let's continue with the vlog. Hey guys, so I've been reading Dial A for Aunties, as I said earlier, and this book is stressing me out, but I'm really liking it. Oh, and I'm halfway through, 50% right on the dot. So let's discuss it. Basically, we're following our main character, Medi, and she is Chinese Indonesian living in California with her mom and her aunties, and they have like a wedding planning business. Each of them do something different for the wedding. Like Medi is the photographer, for example. So at the beginning, we're seeing a couple flashbacks to when she was in college and she was dating this guy named Nathan, and I love them together. They are super cute. This does have quite a focus on romance, and it's super cute. Like Nathan is great. He is a great love interest. But anyways, we see that they ended up breaking up in college, and then we're back in present day where Medi is, still single, and her mom sets her up on a blind date with this guy. The mom was messaging him on a dating app pretending to be Medi, and it's absolutely hilarious when you read the messages between the mom impersonating Medi and this guy. Like, I'm not gonna say anything about it because I don't want to spoil if you read it, but it was a really hilarious scene. Anyway, she goes out with this guy and he's terrible, so she's not really interested in him. And then again, I won't spoil, but he ends up dying. And she is like kind of the reason for him accidentally dying. So then she goes to her aunties and her mom and she's like, what do I do? Like, I killed this guy. And it's basically about her and the aunties trying to like get away with this murder and trying to like hide the dead body. Meanwhile, they are trying to put on like the biggest wedding they've ever done, the most important job they've ever had. As we know, it's a second chance romance, so Nathan ends up being at this wedding. And so then she's dealing with, you know, all her past feelings for him that she still has. It's really fun. But as I said, it's like really causing me a lot of stress, first of all, because of the stressful situation with the dead body. I'm just like, I would do things a lot differently. And just like them trying to not get caught and all this like craziness going on, I definitely see why. I think it got signed on to be a movie on Netflix, and I definitely see how it would be a good movie. So yeah, I'm really liking it, and so far I would highly recommend it. And just know that it is funny, but it does deal with murder, and the romance is pretty freaking cute so far. I just finished Dial A for Aunties, which is my first book of the readathon, so I can finally submit my points for it. I saw that the Enneagram 4 team is in 3rd place, so we're doing pretty well. But yeah, I really adored this book. I think I would give it 4 stars. I'm thinking maybe 4.5. It was honestly very stressful. I'm a little bit relieved that I'm done it, just because there was so much craziness going on. It really did feel like a movie, like one of those crazy, like funny but cute movies that you would see. Like, I really think it would be a good Netflix adaptation. But yeah, it's one of those things where like everything just goes wrong, and I'm someone that gets like secondhand anxiety from things, so I was just getting so stressed out. But it was really hilarious throughout as well. I want to recommend it to honestly everyone, and apparently there's going to be a sequel to it, which I don't know how I feel. Like, I feel like everyone just makes things into series now, even contemporary books, which I always saw as like standalones, but now like so many contemporary books are getting turned into series, and I did like it, so I do hope to pick that one up, and I'm sure it'll be good. But it's just like sometimes I just want things to be like standalone. But yeah, I'm not even sure what else to say besides I really enjoyed the main character. I think she was really likable. Nathan, the love interest, as I already said, love him throughout. The romance, it's not the biggest focus. Like, the main focus is the plot and like all the craziness going on, but we were still able to see how nice the two of them were as a couple, and like what a good guy Nathan was. Loved the aunties. I liked seeing a lot of the like cultural aspects in this book, as well as it is during a Chinese Indonesian wedding, and obviously like I'm white and I don't know much about other cultures, I guess, so I'm always interested in reading about that stuff. It's actually crazy, people who like speak multiple languages, like the aunties would switch between English, Mandarin, and Indonesian. Like, I could never. Yeah, and it's a pretty quick read as well, so that is good. And then I think I'm gonna hop into one of my thriller picks next to mix it up a little bit. I also just got vaccinated, as you saw, my 2nd dose, so now I'm fully vaxxed. So we'll see how I feel in the next 24 hours. Hopefully I'm fine and I don't get any effects. But yeah. So I tried to film a book talk video today for the first time. Try it out. I have to say, it's a lot harder than it looks, and I have a lot of respect for everyone who uploads TikToks. Maybe if I feel like it, I'll insert the little like test that I did, but like I still need some more practice for sure. As for a vaccine update, my arm has been hurting all day, but other than that, no other symptoms, so yay. Hey, it's August 6th, Friday, yay! So I'm halfway through The Hunting Party by Lucy Foley, so thought I'd check in about it. I'll be honest, At first, I was disappointed when I started it because it really feels exactly like the guest list. Like she copy and pasted the exact like outline of both books, because we get this like in the future chapter where we know that there's a dead body, that someone dies, and then we go back a few days before and we're seeing what leads up to that death, and like we don't know who died, which if you haven't read the guest list is very similar. That one takes place at a wedding and we know that someone dies, and then you go back to the beginning of the wedding leading up to see who that person is, and you don't find out till the very end who they are. This feels like it's the exact same because I'm halfway through and I still don't know who that dead person is, and we're going back and forth between the current day where the people who run this like campsite are like dealing with the dead body, and in the past with all of these people, all of this friend group who went to this camping location to celebrate New Year's Eve, they're all kind of there and we're learning about each of them and how they know each other and their background with each other. So anyway, as I said, it's about this friend group, and we are hearing from 3 different points of view of 3 different women. So at first I was very confused because I couldn't tell the women apart. It's like a whole big group of friends and I did not know who each of them are. But eventually I came to know who each of them are, who they're married to. Basically, it's all couples except for this one girl, Katie, who is the one single lady. And they're all friends from college and have their own things going on. And they're just getting back together for New Year's Eve to hang out. And of course, they like some of them have secrets that we're finding out, and some of the guys are seeming pretty sus as well. And then we're following, as I said, the people who work there, finding out a bit about them. So yeah, we still don't know who died, and I don't really, well, there's one person that I have like my theory about, I guess. A lot of them are suspicious, but yeah, I have my theory of who I think is guilty, so I'll let you know if I'm correct. But yeah, so far this is just seeming like very much the same exact setup as the guest list. So I'm wondering if the twist is going to be similar, or like what the difference is going to be between the 2 twists. And I'm also curious if like Lucy Foley is going to keep doing this same outline for every one of her books, or if she'll ever like mix it up, because it's very, very similar. So I'm feeling like this will be either a 3 or 4 stars, but yeah, that's what's going on with this. That's how I'm feeling. At the beginning, I was really feeling like, ugh, I don't want to read this. Like, I already read the guest list and it's so close. But now that I'm more into it, I am enjoying it better. So yeah, hopefully I finish it tonight, Friday night. And yeah, that's all. Hey friends, so I did just finish The Hunting Party and I gave it a 3.5 stars. It really did become its own separate story, different from the guest list, so don't worry about that I mentioned earlier. It just does have that same kind of template in the beginning, or like format, but it really is its own twist, and I liked it. It was fun, it was entertaining. I definitely recommend Lucy Foley's books, but I did guess the like guilty party, the killer, pretty early on. Like the person that I said last time that I guessed, it was correct. They did have a bit of a red herring in there, but at the end of the day I did guess it, and I feel like it is pretty guessable. Like I don't just think I was super smart. I think probably most people could have guessed it, but it still was a really fun read. This premise that it has just always will be fun, with a bunch of people getting together, whether it's friends or strangers, and things going wrong, people dying, secrets coming out, you know what I mean? Like it's fun, but it's 3.5. So also, I did actually make my first book talk today, my first actual TikTok that I posted. So I won't play it here because there might be like copyright or something, but I will definitely link it below. Make sure to go follow me on TikTok. I will make sure to follow everyone back, especially if you are a fellow book talker. But yeah, I want to start actually making book talks now. It was a lot of work, but it was fun seeing the result. So I hope I will like keep that up, because I feel like that would be some different, fun, like shorter content to make. So yeah, check that out in the link in my description. This is the second book of the readathon, now complete. Going to the movies tonight, which should be fun. Seeing the movie Escape Room, the second one, and then I'm actually doing an escape room tomorrow. So that should be fun. I'm not sure which book I'm gonna start next, the Maidens or Anyway the Wind Blows. I'm kind of tempted to go with the Maidens because it's shorter, but maybe I'll go with Any Way the Wind Blows because it's a different genre. It's not just like another thriller. So you'll have to see in the next clip. I haven't decided. Hey guys, it is now Sunday, so we're like 1 week into the readathon, and I'm on my third book, as you know, and I'm halfway through it. It is The Maidens, and I am loving this book. It is really, really good. Alex's writing is great. It's keeping me so invested in the story, and the chapters are also really, really short, so you just want to like keep reading page after page. As for a little synopsis, our main character in this book is Mariana, and she is originally like Greek but living in the UK, and she is a psychotherapist, or just a therapist, actually, a group therapist, which is interesting because in The Silent Patient we were following a psychotherapist as well, so clearly Alex has like an interest in psychology. So yeah, she's like a group therapist. She does like group sessions, whatever. She's had like quite a bit of tragedy in her life. Her husband died like a year ago, so she's dealing with that, and then she has a niece who is a college student, and then her niece's friend ends up getting murdered like by the campus, so she goes to the college to check in on her niece, but while she's there she sees that there's some weird things with this murder. The person that's getting blamed for it, she doesn't really believe is really guilty, so her and her niece kind of are investigating, you know, the people at the college and trying to figure out who really murdered this girl, and it is seeming like it could potentially be one of the professors or tutors or whatever, because he's very like suspicious. Like he seems super, super charming, where he's almost like lying, like he's probably like a sociopath or something. And then he has this little group of girls that are like a little secret society or like a little cult that like follow him around, and they're called the Maidens, hence the title, which is based off of Persephone. In Greek mythology, I guess Persephone is known as the maiden, and she is the goddess of death, as you guys might have heard of, like her in Hades and the underworld and stuff. So there's a lot of things having to do with Greek mythology. I guess it's like sort of a dark academia vibe, as it takes place out of school with like a cult and stuff like that. But it's not a very long book. Like it's like 300 and something pages. So I'm flying through it. I feel like I could maybe finish it today because it is Sunday. I filmed a couple videos, you know, and I'm just sort of chilling for the rest of the day. But yeah, it's looking good. I'm wondering what the twist is gonna be. We also are getting a couple random chapters that are from the killer, or it's making you think it's from the killer's point of view. I'm very interested to see what happens because they're making it so obvious that it would be this professor guy. So I'm like, it must not be, or there's some twist regarding it. I don't know. I'm very interested to see what the heck is gonna happen. Hey, it's Monday morning and I finished The Maidens last night. So I read 3 of my books in just 1 week, which is really cool. So now I just have 1 left, but I actually ended up giving this 5 stars. It was so good. I couldn't stop reading it last night. I got way ahead on my reading schedule because I just couldn't stop. The chapters, as I said, were really short and it was so addictive, and I was just dying to know what was going to happen and like what the twist was gonna be, and I ended up not guessing what the twists were. So that's always great because there have been some thrillers I've read lately that I just could clearly see it coming, like with The Hunting Party. So it was nice to really not see this one coming at all. But then the very ending, I felt like could have been a little bit better, potentially. You know, the overall reading experience was so good that it had to be 5 stars. This isn't a huge spoiler, but there is kind of like a connection to The Silent Patient in this book. So I definitely recommend reading The Silent Patient if you're gonna read this, either before or after. I don't really think makes a big difference. But it kind of made me want to like reread The Silent Patient. I was reading about some like negative reviews of this book, and it's interesting because I kind of did agree with them. I kind of saw what they meant, but because I enjoyed reading this so much and I was surprised by the ending, I just had to still rate it high. But I would definitely think there's merit in the negative reviews. Some people say that Alex doesn't really represent like mental health issues as well as he could, which I could definitely see because he focuses on therapy and psychology so much, yet I don't think he is a therapist at all. Like in his bio, it just says that he went to school for like literature and screenwriting. So I think that's why like his books are so good, but it's like he has a little bit of problematic stuff if you're really focusing on like the mental health stuff. There's a couple of the red herrings in here that ended up not being super relevant, and people are complaining, like wishing that there was more to them, and I definitely would agree with that as well. Still really enjoyed this. It's super like short, it's a super quick read. Highly recommend this book and The Silent Patient both. We got an updated standings. I think team 4 is now in like 4th place, so we've gone down. At least we're in the top half of the groups in terms of points. But yeah, just gonna read Anyway the Wind Blows now. I've been sucking at like doing any like actual vlogging this week, like showing any of the stuff that I'm doing, the b-roll and stuff, so sorry about that. Sorry if it's a little boring. I did really enjoy the movie Escape Room Tournament of Champions. It's super fun, highly recommend. And then I did really enjoy the escape room that I went to, and we did escape. They gave us like a few extra minutes, but like I'm counting it as an escape because we got out with like minutes after our time was up. Highly recommend doing escape rooms. It's very fun. So I will see you next when I've started Anyway the Wind Blows. So, hello. I've been reading Anyway the Wind Blows. I'm not halfway yet. I wish I was. I'm at page 218. So let's check in. First thing I want to mention is the title, which I haven't mentioned yet. Anyway the Wind Blows. Why would this be the title when the first book's called Carry On and the second book is Wayward Son? Wouldn't the third book be There'll Be Peace When You Are Done or something to that effect? But instead we're like changing songs here. Like Anyway the Wind Blows, I assume is a reference to the Queen song, Bohemian Rhapsody. So I'm just like, why would you change the song halfway through? Like we were sticking with the one song for the first 2 books. So that's a frustrating thing. I just want to note. Another thing is, so I first read Carry On, I think when I was in high school. I don't know, I was a teenager still, and I loved it. And I think I still even like the second one, but I still would have been younger. I feel like now at my current age, my current place in life, this like YA fantasy book, like it's just not hitting the same as the previous books did, which I don't know if that's a age thing, like outgrowing it, or if it's just that this book itself is not the same. There's just something a little bit off. Like I'm reading it sometimes and I'm like, I wish that I wasn't. Which sounds bad, like it's not that bad, but I'm just kind of like, I'm not really sure if this is my thing anymore. In terms of explaining what this is about, it's kind of hard because it's the third book, but this is based on the world of mages, which is basically like wizards, like magic. It originally takes place at a magical school, very reminiscent of Harry Potter. That's what it's kind of parodying. And Simon Snow is like the chosen one figure, and then there's Baz, who is, I would say, like the Malfoy, like he's kind of evil, but he's a vampire. And they're roommates and they fall in love, and there's all this other adventure. And the second book was like a little side story where they go to America, them with some of their friends, and have like a little side adventure that was kind of irrelevant. And now we're like back in England and they're kind of dealing with everything from the first 2 books. And Simon's like super scarred from what's happened. He's lost his magic. That's a minor spoiler. So he's dealing with that and how he has all these people who are in the magic world still, but he's not magic, and so it's upsetting, and how that affects his relationship with Baz. And Baz is going through his own stuff because he's a vampire, and it's like he's ashamed of that, and then he's also upset about stuff with Simon, blah blah blah. This one seems like it doesn't have as much of a story. There's a little story going on here and there, but not super like cohesive, and there is more of a focus on the romance between Simon and Baz, which is nice. That was a critique of the second book that people had, was that there wasn't. So now there is. The only thing that's frustrating is like, so they break up and it's literally like a couple of pages later they get back together. That could have been done differently. So anyways, I'm just having like some critiques, I guess, about this, which is too bad because this was like one of my favorite book series back in the day. So hopefully it will still end on a good note and I can still rate it like at least a 4. But yeah, it's just kind of like, I wish these books would have come out closer together so I could have just like binged them all at a time when I was into that stuff. But anyways, at least it's still pretty. And I do still like Baz and Simon together. I don't know, it's just a little bit off for me. It's just not what I was expecting. Hey guys, here I am to close out the vlog. The sun is kind of in my eye, or like my glasses are super dirty or something. I can barely see, so hopefully I look okay in the camera. Anyways, I finished Anyway the Wind Blows last night, and guys, I think I was just in a bad mood, or like not really enjoying it obviously in the last clip, but she was being over dramatic because the second half like really picked up, and I actually ended up really enjoying the second half, and I like flew through the last chunk of it. I think what one of the things is that all of our main characters were kind of having separate storylines, specifically Simon and Penelope, the two best friends. And when their storylines kind of came back together, they reunited and started working together again. It just sort of changed the dynamic back to how it was when I enjoyed the book. So once they reunited, that was great, and there was just sort of one united problem going on instead of them all having the different ones. And then yeah, because it's the end of the series, like you just see where everyone ends up and their own little happy endings that they get. We also kind of got a bit of a reveal at the end regarding Simon and like his background, his heritage, and I really enjoyed that. It was something that I sort of suspected. I liked having that, and I don't know, just it got way better. And I do wish there was a little bit more action at the end. We did still have kind of a climactic point. I kind of wish it was like a little bit more epic, like epic fantasy, but it was still good. I still enjoyed that. And yeah, by the end I was kind of sad to see this book ending. I really do love these characters, so I ended up giving it 4 stars. So to conclude this Enneagramathon, I'm not gonna read any more books because it is Friday and the readathon ends tomorrow, so there's just no way I'm gonna read another book at this point. Obviously we know that The Hunting Party was my least favorite book of this vlog. It was an okay time, but like the twists were pretty predictable and everything. Then I guess the next would be Anyway the Wind Blows, which I ended up enjoying in the end, but it is sort of like for a younger YA audience. Actually, I wanted to mention, so it actually maybe isn't for that much of a younger audience because there were some like sexual things, which is fine because like it's been years since she started this series, so obviously the audience has grown up and like that makes sense with the characters growing up. But there were some weird moments of just like so much biting. Like, why was there so much biting happening? I know Baz is a vampire, but like they were like biting each other's faces, and personally I've never experienced that. I don't know if that's a thing, if that's just like a kink. Hopefully I'm not kink shaming anyone, but like it was just a lot of biting that was kind of weird. But anyways, then next would be this book. Then it would be Dial A for Aunties, which I read way back at the beginning of the readathon and really loved, really entertaining, good romance, good humor. And then obviously we know my favorite was The Maidens, the only 5-star read. Really great thriller that kept me really engaged the whole time. Good twist at the end. Still seeing some people that aren't liking this, so I guess it's kind of like a hit or a miss for people. Keep that in mind, but for me, it was great. So this is the end. I've been happy to be on team 4. We don't know what the score is yet, like who's gonna win. I feel like team 4 probably won't win because we haven't been in the lead, but we can hope. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you will subscribe for more bookish videos. Yeah, I'll see you in my next one. Bye.